Am I the asshole? That is the question we're going to answer on today's stories. Who would have thought? G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Now if you love these stories, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn of the Barbie, and get ready for some good content. Let's go. Am I the asshole for getting mad that my oldest son didn't let my youngest win a game? So I have 4 kids. Only 2 are relevant to the story. My 10-year-old son we'll call Jack, and 8-year-old son we'll call Tony. They were playing Mario Kart with each other on their 3DSs. My oldest son knows to let the youngest win, otherwise he'll throw a tantrum. The boys swapped DSs because Tony's needed to be charged, and Jack didn't really feel like moving from his spot. Like I said, Jack knows to let Tony win, but for some reason he didn't this time. Tony started his usual I didn't win tantrum and threw Jack's 3DS across the room. The console broke, the top screen came off the bottom, and the buttons are unresponsive. Jack was upset and that's why I got mad at him. He had been told repeatedly to let Tony win to avoid a tantrum. My husband and my 2 girls, 16 and 17, are saying that I should make Tony give Jack his 3DS. But I think it's Jack's fault for giving him his one, then not letting him come first place. Jack is refusing to share anything with Tony and has hardly spoken to me in days, so I'm left to deal with the constant tantrums on my own. Am I the asshole? And edit, can you guys please stop messaging me wishing death on my kids? What the hell, Reddit? I think this is a fairly obvious you're the asshole for not properly parenting these kids and setting clear boundaries between the two, and instead just blaming one son for not letting the other win, when that's not the point of these games. You're just enabling bad habits that Tony shouldn't be learning if you tell Jack to let him win all the time. That's not how life works. You're the asshole for the bad parenting. Now in the comments, Sev's mama 21217 says, "You're the asshole and a crappy parent. It's not Jack's responsibility to help you handle Tony's tantrums. You do not reward bad behavior. Tony throws tantrums to get his way, and you just go along with it. He has you trained. Tony is old enough to understand that there are consequences to his actions. Having to give his brother his toy is a natural consequence of breaking his brother's toy. Get a grip before Tony grows into an entitled adult with no sense of accountability." I have 3 kids. You know what happens if you throw a fit because you lost? You don't get to play anymore. You damage your sibling's toy because you have a fit? Your toy becomes their toy. It's a natural consequence. OP needs to get Tony's tantrums under control. We get so many posts on here about adults who throw tantrums when they don't get what they want. They demand weddings be cancelled, they assume they'll be included on expensive vacations at no cost to them, they cry and moan, and their feelings are so genuinely hurt when the world doesn't bend over backwards to cater to them that you have to wonder where they come from. This is where they come from. You're the asshole. Jack is the victim in this situation. If Tony is having tantrums, it's because you are failing to enforce appropriate consequences to make him grow out of it. Jack is not an instigator. He shouldn't have to let his brother win all the time. He should be allowed to win as well. And if your fear was dealing with tantrums, then you must have been setting this expectation since before Jack was 8. So you should know very well this isn't necessary. Jack is the one that should be receiving an apology and appropriate recompense, both from Tony and from you. Jack is also clearly kind to his brother. He gave Tony his DS to play on because Tony's needed to be charged, and as a result got his DS broken. How are you supposed to raise a kid when they're rewarded for tantrums and bad behavior, and apparently punished for anything remotely good? Not only because it didn't need to be charged, but because Tony didn't feel like moving. What a brat. And now on to the update. Hi, so it's been a few months since I posted that, and I was mostly rightfully dragged for it. There's been enough breakthroughs for an update, so here we go. As I mentioned in the comments, Tony has unmedicated ADHD, and after taking him to his doctor to start the medication process, we were told that it wasn't ADHD, but most likely autism spectrum disorder. The doctor was in fact right. However, Reddit was right, and I was enabling his behavior. We, myself, my husband, and Tony are all in group and individual counseling now. And on to Jack. I did not make Tony give Jack his 3DS, but Santa delivered Jack an early Christmas present, a brand new Nintendo Switch. Tony isn't allowed to touch it. There's much less tolerance for Tony's tantrums now, and his behavior has improved massively. He doesn't get what he wants just because he'll have a tantrum. Now he understands that he'll be put in a room of his own, and if he comes out before he's calmed down, he will not be acknowledged. Overall, a pretty positive update. Thank you for all of your advice and for telling me I was in fact the asshole. Now in the comments, Tiny Lolita says, family is a complicated matter. Everyone has different parenting skills, but I do see that OP loves their children. Some may think OP isn't doing enough to remedy the situation that got them to write the other post in the first place. I always see people in a more positive light when they've screwed up, took advice, and try to better themselves instead of doubling down. It's much better than those labeled assholes still trying to defend their actions in their updates. Small changes at a time. One big step forward can push you 3 steps back, putting you in the same position again much easier and faster. You also don't want to be too harsh on kids. The youngest is going to have a learning curve and a harder one, since he also needs to unlearn that tantrums equals free pass. Instituting timeouts is a great way to start. Hopefully, they're also going to look into giving their son tools to calm down. Timeouts and being away from the situation helps. It also isn't always everything a kid needs to calm down, and might need some extra guidance like breathing exercises or something. Wow. I just read through the original post. It's amazing what can be accomplished when a bunch of strangers call someone an asshole. I'm glad everything worked out in the end here. What an amazing second sentence that is. Look, unless a person is truly intractable or is posting here without honest intent, i.e. for validation or just trolling, I think that it would be rather difficult to shake off around 1.5 thousand people calling you an asshole after hearing both your reasoning and your side of the story. And that's a conservative estimate, allowing for more dissenters and undecided commenters than I suspect there actually were. It's not that easy to shake off that many people telling you that, contrary to your beliefs, you screwed up good and proper. Especially when many commenters were good enough to explain, often in excruciating detail, or with painfully apt stories of their own experience parallel to Jack's, how what OP should be doing differs from what OP actually did and does. That's far too great a consensus to wave off as happenstance or an echo chamber, at least as long as the one receiving those comments is willing to learn or to try and do better. Our next post is by user X and Money, titled, Am I the asshole for not wanting to give any money to my pregnant ex? So my ex, 25 female, and I, 27 male, were together for about 6 months, but during that time we were free to see other people. Things weren't working out, so we broke up. Over a month after that, she finds out she's pregnant and tells me the baby is mine. But I already knew she was seeing other guys, so it was also possible the baby isn't. She got mad that I was having doubts, but I said that if we got a paternity test and it showed that I'm the dad, then yeah, I'll be 100% involved. My ex didn't want that, and she'd rather wait until after the baby is born to get a test done. So I said that's fine, it's her choice, but I won't get myself involved unless I know the baby is mine. Like, I already know I could be set up for child support if I start helping out now, and then later it's revealed I'm not the father. I live in the US and have heard that this stuff happens a lot. I'd rather not even risk it, you know? She's about 8 months now, and I've started saving up money, reading up some books, making shopping cart lists of baby clothes and furniture to buy in case I'm the father, so it's not like I'm not preparing for this at all. So right now, money is tight with her since I know she's only working part-time. She doesn't have the money for a baby bassinet or clothes because she practically lives paycheck to paycheck. She started asking to let her borrow money for baby stuff, but I've told her no. Far as I know, she doesn't have other family she's close to, and friends are the same as her with money. But I already said that I'll start giving her money and helping out once I know her son is mine. Otherwise, I'd rather not get involved. I've even told her to reach out to the other guys who could also be the dads, but she said one is even more broke and the other one she hasn't been able to contact. So for right now, seems like I'm the only one actually able to offer financial support. We have a couple mutual friends, and I'm getting crap from them because they know I have the money to help out. She could be the mum of my kid, so the least I could do is provide. They say they would if they had the money. Since I do have the means, and this baby could be mine, I should already be helping. They have a point, the baby could be mine, and I will be happy to help out, once I know he is in fact mine. But everyone else is seeing it as I'm being too cold and inconsiderate. I don't think I am, but I want to know what others believe. Am I the asshole? I want to know what kind of drugs all these other people are smoking. Have none of these friends watched the Jerry Springer show? I want to go up to them and start chanting, "Jerry, Jerry, he is not the father!" And just like splay the paperwork everywhere. That would be pretty epic. Anything to convince these people that you don't just start investing in this child without proof that it is yours, regardless of what her circumstances are. If you don't have to provide child support and you're not with this woman, why would you shoot yourself in the foot like that and set yourself up to give child support when it's not your child? Am I living in cuckoo land with this story? Not the arsehole, OP. It's better to look out for yourself in this instance. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. You don't owe her anything until you're sure of paternity. And to be honest, if she can't afford to have a kid, regardless of who the father is, she shouldn't be having a kid. You took the words right out of my mouth. Let's not forget either that I can't reach one guy and the other one is broke is a her problem, and likely the only reason she's trying to peg OP as the father. I'm not sure why she would even keep a baby if she can't afford it, especially if 2 out of the 3 possible fathers can't provide. I wouldn't want to be stuck paying for a kid that wasn't mine either. It seems like this girl really screwed up, and if she's in such dire financial straits, it'll only get worse after she delivers and can't work for a bit. You would think she would have got the test if she was hurting for cash that bad, but the fact that she didn't shows me she probably thinks he isn't the father. I wouldn't help the ex at all, not financially or otherwise, until he knows the paternity of the kid. Family court is a strange beast, and I wouldn't give them any reason to make him responsible if the child turns out not to be his. Edit to add, I just read that not only did you use protection, she did too. So that, coupled with her not wanting to get the paternity test, tells me she doesn't think you're the father. She just thinks you are the best financial option, which you are. Don't help or give her a dime until paternity is established, because there's a huge chance it's not yours. It's possible that the paternity test thing is just because she's worried about the welfare of the baby. Until very recently, the only prenatal paternity test carried with it a pretty high risk of causing a miscarriage. Now they can do it with a blood test, but I have no idea how expensive that is, or if she even knows about it as an option. And OP replies, I told her about that one back when we first found out, and offered to pay for it just so we would both know already. For some reason though, she still refused, even after telling her they'd basically be taking blood from her. Nothing physical would be done to the baby. Oof. Definitely not that then. I can understand her trepidation. She has a lot to lose if you are not the father. You are absolutely not the asshole. I feel a bit sorry for her, but pity for her doesn't make you a bad person for not being her savior. If you were feeling insanely super generous, you could give her a baby shower gift once the DNA results are in if you are not the dad, but that is absolutely not an obligation, and it's not something you're morally required to do. It would be like hero levels of nice. And now on to the update. Hasn't been that long, but I thought I should update since many of you wanted to know. Following what a few here suggested, I tried talking to my ex again about getting the prenatal paternity test done right now since she kept pressing me about giving her money. I said if her situation is that bad, then let's have this test done already so if the baby is mine, I can start helping now. Because if we waited until after birth, she was going to have to wait for my support until the results came in. Plus, if she still refused a paternity test then, it would be more waiting around to get a court-ordered test. Meaning no help from me at all for a while, even after the baby is already here. So yeah, She agreed to it in the end. He's not mine. I just got the results the day before yesterday. My ex really didn't have much to say. She only texted, "Fine then, I won't bother you anymore." I told her I was sorry and I wished her luck, and I also told her about what you guys commented about Facebook posts selling or giving away used baby stuff, plus the WIC program that could help her out since she's low income. But she didn't respond after that and I haven't heard from her since, so I don't know if she'll look into those. Not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. I know I was having my doubts about this baby being mine and was keeping my distance, but like I said, I was mentally and physically preparing in case he was so that I could be there as a father. I still feel that loss, but at least now I know for sure. I appreciate everyone who commented, and thanks for the info and advice. Now in the comments, Outrageous Text 4914 says, "I'm sorry to hear about your disappointment, but you did everything you could to help to a reasonable extent by providing resources for her to look into." I'm sorry to hear about your disappointment too, OP. One thing crossed my mind. Could her reluctance to do the test mean she's telling more guys that they're the father? If you read the original, they were only together for 6 months in an open relationship and they were both sleeping around. It's more likely she picked the safest bet and doesn't actually know who it is. Mr. Silk says, "Thanks for the update. I was curious about how the situation was going to turn out. Since you knew she was seeing other guys, you did the smartest thing you could have done. Establish paternity as the first step. It's understandable that you may be left with a feeling of loss. For a period of time, there was the potential that you brought another human into the world. That potential is now gone. You seem like a good guy and have never been the asshole in this situation." And OP replies, "Yeah, exactly. Hard not to feel some sort of attachment to the possibility of having a kid. I know it's not the same as actually losing a kid. He was never mine to begin with, but I guess there's still that emptiness and sadness. I know I'll get over it in time, but the news is still fresh and all. Just a suggestion, could y'all throw her a baby shower? Especially the friends who told you off for not helping her. What are they doing now? Like, it's funny how people clam up when they could indeed help." And OP replies, "Maybe, yeah. Probably won't be able to actually meet with the pandemic, plus she's due soon." Their issue was they were all just as broke as her, but I don't see why pitching in on a gift would be a problem for them. Drive-by and Zoom baby showers are real things. A drive-by baby shower made me picture a group of gangbangers just chucking baby clothes and pacifiers at a random pregnant woman. And Friendly Stoner Girl says, "Not the asshole. My cousin just found out the baby he thought was his daughter isn't his. She lied, and the baby is over a year old now. They weren't together, and the baby went back and forth between them each week until he received the paternity test. He gave her $2,000 a month. Everyone in our whole family is heartbroken because now she's keeping her from him since he discovered the truth, and he's a mess. It's a lot less painful, and it's really smart of you to do this. It's crazy that people do this. Wow, I'm really sorry for your cousin. I hope things get better for him. Can't even imagine how hard that must be. I don't know why people need to lie. Needing money or feeling like you don't have any other option, I guess, is one reason, but why at the cost of someone else's life and of your child's too? Anyways, that's a really tough situation. I hope he gets some help. The hardest lesson to learn is that some people just don't care whose life they screw up so long as they get theirs. I've noticed so much the last few years how much people are only out there for themselves in the end. It's really shocked me and has changed my outlook on a lot of things now. I'm a lot more wary around everyone and what their intentions are. Didn't like losing that piece of innocence about the world. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.